Any of the 25 wins that I had, of course, the World Championship is probably the pinnacle of it. As far as what's the greatest thing that I take out of my career, and besides that, just great friendships, great relationships, all the different places that I've been around the world, and all the wonderful people that I've met. I think it's Valentino. I never really paid much attention to road racing before I started riding professionally in '85. Barry Sheen was a huge influence on my career. Go back and watch some of the old videos of him and Roberts is pretty special. So, of guys of the older generation, Barry was the most influential, and guys currently, I think Rossi's style I really like. I miss the no controls, sideways snapping quick, high side, the excitement that two strokes brought you. But I think, from a rider's perspective, careers are lasting 2 or 3 times longer now than they used to. The 4 strokes are a bigger, heavier, faster machine, more electronic control, more forgiving, and of course the safety equipment's continue to improve. Track safety's become something that's paramount. Track runoff, safer barriers, air fences and things like that, as well as leathers, boots, helmets, and gloves have all continued to just do nothing but get better. Porsche loaned us some 944 S2s. I think it was in '89. They loaned Martin Wimmer, Eddie Lawson, myself, Wayne Rainey, and Randy Mamola each one. So we were 5 cars deep. I'm not sure. I don't remember what happened with Martin's, but Eddie and I and Randy's all got stacked up, bent up just a little bit. Not undrivably bent, but beat up a little bit on chasing Gabriele Mazzarella from Alpine Stars. We were going from where Alpine Stars and Dainese were to Venice to spend the night. We were going to go have a nice dinner, and Gabriele got a little bit in front of us, and I was next in line. And then there was Eddie, and then there was Randy. We were at a left turn line. Gabriele went first, and then I had to wait for traffic, and I finally squeezed through. As I come around, trying to get up to speed and catch back up, come around the tight little right-hand corner, and there's a lady in an old Fiat 500, sitting, turning left. And the building is right out to the edge of the road, so you can't see even around the corner at all. So as I came around the corner, ABS, kind of close up behind the lady, I thought, oh, I know what's coming. Next is Eddie, then's Randy. So as they left the light, I could hear Eddie go, "Rrr." I hear the tire squeal. I hear second gear, and I thought, okay, here he comes. As he comes around the corner, kind of a panic. Oh man, this is going to be close. I turn my car right up against the curb, away from the lady in the Fiat 500. And Eddie comes right up to me, and when he gets stopped, I look up in the mirror and kind of make my, man, that was close. And we hear, Randy's coming. We hear second gear. We hear third gear. And we're thinking. And I see Eddie just kind of scoots down in his seat. And Randy comes around the corner. Bam, hits the back of Eddie's car. Bam, he hits the back of my car. Just about that time, the little old lady in the Fiat 500 turns, and we don't hit her, but the front of Eddie's car and the front of Randy's car were pretty beat up, and it was just getting dark, so we had to stop on the motorway going into Venice, the next road we got on, and borrow some tools from a gas station to try and the headlights on the 944s used to flip up. Well, they were bent, and the hood was bent so that they wouldn't open. We had to have headlights, so we pried the headlights open. I think with tire irons or something. And then Eddie put his in a ditch Sunday night after Salzburg with a little bit of coaching from me. He and I went out after the race and coming back late at night, trying to lose somebody on a sidecar that recognized us sitting at a light in Salzburg. And I'm like, Eddie, come on, you got to lose that sidecar. There's nothing going to follow us back into the paddock, and then we're going to be stuck with them. Anyway, so I tried to coach Eddie on what to do to go down the hill and make this corner really quick so these people wouldn't see us. We missed the corner, went a little bit wide, and ended off in a big ravine. So we had 4 pretty messed up Porsches, and I don't remember exactly what happened to Martin's. The reason Eddie was driving that night was I was leaving the track. He and I were leaving the track together to go into Salzburg. And as we got to the track, Randy had just gone out in front of us. Well, the guy who was guarding the gate, because you just have to drive across the track to get out, the guy who was guarding the gate there had gone to talk to Randy. And when he did, Eddie goes, "Let's go do a lap." So I turned onto the racetrack, and around Salzburg we went, and around the racetrack we went. When we came back around to finish the lap and leave the track, the guy who was in charge of security was not very happy with us. And he was, if you remember, James Bond movie, the guy Jaws, about 8 foot tall, bunch of metal. He looked exact and was the same size. And this guy was like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to go out on the track." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Well, he's like, "Roll the window down." So I cracked the window about that far. He goes, "Roll the window down." And I rolled it down a little bit further, and he reached in, grabbed the door handle, unlocked the door, went to yank the door open, went to pull me out of the car, but I had my seatbelt on. So he couldn't get me out, and I started laughing. And he's like, "What's so funny?" And I said, "Nothing really." He says, "What's your name?" And I said, "Wayne Rainey." And he says, "Yeah, I know you are." Yeah. And Eddie's in the passenger seat just dying laughing. And he says, "What are you laughing about?" He says, "I don't know." He says, "What's your name?" He goes, "Randy Momola." Well, the problem was he just talked to Randy, so he knew that wasn't Randy. And when he went to slam the door, he slammed the door with the window down that far, so hard that the window shattered. Glass in the side of my head. I mean, and you know what? You cut your head, just a small cut. It's like, I look at Eddie, and Eddie and I both unclip, and it's 140 pounds and 140 and a little bit going after this guy that's 8 feet tall. And he's hurrying to get to his van, and Eddie and I are swinging at him, trying to hit him. He's reaching for his radio. Eddie grabs the antenna of his radio and smashes it on the ground. Just a typical Sunday afternoon after the race. So I had to go tape the window up on my car because it was raining at the time. And then we ended up letting Eddie drive that night, and then he put his car in the ditch later that evening. So he took his to the dealership to get. We tried to pull it out that night with a 4-wheel drive, and I thought I had it hooked to a piece of the frame. I only had it hooked to the sway bar, and we pulled the sway bar out of the front of it. So he had to get that fixed on his, and I needed a windshield put in mine. And when we returned them, I've not heard a word from you people at Porsche since. I guess they want to loan us any cars anymore. All of them. No, I have my hands are pretty sore if I go ride my motocross bike or if I ride my mountain bike too much. But for the most part, I can still do what I want to do, ride what I want to ride, and still enjoy life. I've got I got a left wrist that doesn't move 100% like it used to, and it doesn't really help my golf game, which, whatever. It would be, but I think the speeds that the bikes are going now, I mean, just a quick example of how much faster motorcycles have gotten. In my entire career of Grand Prix racing, I never went over 200 miles an hour. I rode Suzuki MotoGP bike in 2014 at Circuit of the Americas and went 205 mile an hour down the back straightaway. And that was just in 15 or 20 laps of 5 seconds off the pace of what Grand Prix racing was doing at that time. To take them to Salzburg, would be great to see from a couple of riders. Let's go see how fast they can really go there. But I think from a racing standpoint, unless you're willing to move that whole mountain that was on the left side of Salzburg as you were headed up the back straightaway, I think it's just too unsafe. My parents owned a motorcycle dealership, so I rode a motorcycle my first time when I was 3 years old. First racing probably at 10. Hare scrambles, a little bit of motocross. I rode some observed trials competition when I was 5 or 6. And then road racing, I didn't actually ride my first road race until 1983. I would have been 19 years old. Wow. Yeah, probably be the two influences and my two favorite riders. One would be Barry and one would be Valley. I think between the two they could ride just about anything.